Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Friday Morning Beer Review. Sorry, I should have done that before I started talking. I've got one this morning that's called Sunday Morning Stout from Weyerbacher Brewing. And I was going to take a marker and cross out Sunday and write Friday for Friday Morning Stout, but it's a little cold and it's all wet and markers don't work on wet labels. So this is a high ABV beer. So this was actually probably a good one for our Monday Bomb Beer series. But the fact that it has Morning Stout on the label means that it has to be a morning beer. So Sunday Morning Stout from Weyerbacher Brewery for Friday Morning Beer Review. Now, Weyerbacher Brewery is in Easton, Pennsylvania. They started in 1995, and they have a ton of beers. One of them, I will point out for our buddy Dan down in Dallas. They've got a beer called Dallas Sucks. So I think we're going to have to, we might have to just send some, or if we can find some, we're going to see him here very, very soon. Maybe we can get some Dallas Sucks beer. Sorry, Dan. Had to mention that. I just literally found it before I started recording this. So I'm going to crack this one open. I'm going to give you an initial impression, and that's all you're going to get, because for Friday Morning Beer Review, I just don't have the time before I go to work to do a full beer review, full brewery review. I'll just tell you a little bit about the brewery, tell you my initial impressions of this beer. Oh, sorry about that. The loud noise. And you can check out my actual check-in on Untappd later in the day to see where it actually ended up. So as I said, it's a little bit cold. Came out of the refrigerator not too long ago, so I am going to let it warm up for a little bit after I do my initial impression here. So I'm sure that as most stouts, although we just did one on our regular podcast, it was a barrel-aged stout, and it got worse. It's so weird. But anyway, most stouts usually get better as they warm up. So let's give this a pour and a sniff. Here we go. All right, that is a super, super dark beer, as most of these stouts are. Very, very little head. There was about a 1/4 inch or so head that is quickly dissipating. We've kind of come to call this the Coca-Cola head, because when you pour a Coca-Cola and it's really, really cold, it'll fizz real fast and then comes down nice and fast, and actually sounds like larger bubbles popping when it fades down or fizzes down. So some stouts give a real nice thick head and real compact, tiny little bubbles. This one has a quickly dissipating head with larger bubbles that make a little bit more noise when it fizzes down. So let's see what it smells like. There actually is not a big aroma, but I can smell some subtleties of chocolate, vanilla, coffee. There is a little bit of a boozy smell, being 12.7%. I don't know if I said that before. I said it's a high ABV, but it's 12.7% ABV. So it is a boozy beer, and I think this one actually might be aged. So let's see. What should I use? Should I do a description first, or should I taste it first? Let's taste it first. One more taste. Here we go. That's really, really good for a a morning stout, morning stout. Typically, these are a little heavier on the coffee side. There is some very, very subtle coffee flavor. It's definitely on the sweeter side. So you get some chocolates and vanillas. This one I actually think Adam would really like. He's not a big coffee stout guy. In fact, the one podcast I was just talking about that we did the other night was Central Waters Peruvian Morning. It was so heavy coffee that he couldn't drink it. He ended up dumping it. And I didn't really care for that either because it was so coffee intense. This one, it's boozy, it's sweeter and has a very subtle coffee flavor. So, that's good. I'm going to come out of the block here at 3.75. That's delicious. And I get the feeling that because of the booziness and the sweet side of it, as it warms up, it's probably going to get even better. Oh, yeah. Good to clear that out in the morning. Let's see here. So, as I said, Weyerbacher Brewery, Easton, Pennsylvania, founded in 1995. I'm not going to go through their inventory. They've got a lot of beers. Man. They do brew beers. They do a lot of big beers. They started out in a 30,000 square foot facility and have since moved on beyond that original. They have humble beginnings and are now in a 30,000 square foot facility. 30,000 square feet, that's pretty big. So that's a lot of room to do a lot of beers. This one is in their, This is a seasonal release. And why do I have two? There we go. I thought I had two tabs of the same thing opened up. Anyway, seasonal release, Sunday Morning Stout is a 12.7% ABV beer, American Imperial Stout, aged in bourbon barrels. Aromas of roasted coffee and bourbon awaken your senses, while their flavors blend with hints of chocolate, malt, roasted malt, vanilla, and caramel. So perfect cap to a Saturday night or Sunday morning. Yeah, the bourbon. Okay, that's really cool. It doesn't say that it's a bourbon barrel aged beer that I see. Oh my gosh, it does. It's in writing that you almost can't even read. Check this out. It might show up better on camera. So, see the writing right there? It's white letters on like a white tile or some sort of, I don't know, maybe it's a keyboard or something, whatever that is. But I didn't even notice that before I opened this up. It says stout aged in bourbon barrels with coffee. Who knew? So, okay. That's a Sunday Morning Stout aged in bourbon barrels. This probably would have, sorry, Adam, this probably would have been a pretty good candidate for our regular podcast, but I'm just going to have to enjoy this one myself, I guess. This one came out in February. It's a seasonal. It comes out in February every year. So this is the 2018 version. They do give a food pairing and a cheese pairing on their website. And there's something else on here I was going to, oh yeah, here we go. Up here on the bottle, a couple of dates given. So it shows when it was bottled, which was March 13th of 18. It also has March 13th of 20 date on it. And I'm assuming that is their best buy date. However, most stouts, especially barrel-aged stouts, you can let them sit for as long as you want and get them nicely aged. This beer, if I remember correctly, this was an inexpensive barrel-aged beer. I want to say it was like $3.59. Something like that. It was less than $4 for sure. $3.59, $3.79. I don't think I've ever paid more than $4 for any Weyerbacher beer. So value for your dollar for a barrel-aged beer. This is like the Boulevard Grand Cru or some of the Kentucky bourbon barrel-aged stouts. Excellent value. Less than $4 per bottle. Maybe even closer to $3. I honestly don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I know it wasn't more than $4. So great value. that's pretty much all I got. I'm going to just continue to enjoy this beer. I don't want to ramble on too long. I know everybody's got to get to work. So if you get an opportunity, run out and grab one of these. I highly recommend it. This 3.75 rating is probably conservative, and I expect that as it warms, it's going to warm nicely. So this check-in might go up. So you guys have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed another Friday morning beer review. We'll talk to you next week. We'll be back with a Monday bomb beer review, and we'll put the regular podcast out on Wednesday night, something like that, Tuesday night, middle of the week, whenever we decide to record it. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye. Cheers.